Welcome back to another piano expressive session. Let's build on what we did last time, but firstly check in with your posture. Make sure your back is straight, your neck is long, your shoulders are relaxed, your feet are flat on the floor to give you stability, and your forearms are angled down towards the keys, and at the end of those forearms you've got those lovely relaxed wrists, dome-shaped hands and strong curved fingers. You're also feeling positive and focused and ready to learn some new skills. Last time we focused on your interaction with the keys, and again that lovely relaxed wrist movement, engaging our hearing to become aware of the connection between the way we approach the keys and the sound that the piano makes, moving smoothly from one key to another using a detached articulation and the fingers indicated on the sheet music, creating those lovely flowing coordinated hand gestures so that you can't tell when the right hand and the left hand are swapping roles, and engaging your imagination so that you hear the music in your head before it comes out of your fingers. And we had a look at playing the gradually softer dynamic to add some expression to our music. We played the short piece Silver Sledges. Today we're going to look at how to incorporate our second dynamic, the gradually louder dynamic, into our music, and how we can use the gradually louder and the gradually softer dynamics to start to create some musical phrases within the music that we play. Here's today's song, Pussycat. It's about a cat and a goat, an unusual combination of our four-legged friends, but there you go. You can see that we've got calm indicated at the top of our music, so we don't have to play 1,000 miles an hour. We've got our two staves both in the treble, so our left and our right hand are reading treble notes. We've got a 3/4 time signature, so we're counting 3 beats in the bar. If you scan across the music, you can see we've got our hands alternating. We've got our right hand first, then a couple of notes with our left hand, then our right hand again, and another couple of notes with our left hand. And you can see that we've also got gradually louder and gradually softer dynamic markings in our music. Here's my demo. Let's go through the music a bit at a time. You can see in our first couple of bars we've got our right hand playing with our second finger on 2 G crotchet notes to start with. 1, 2, followed by an A. Then in the next bar we've got a B and 2 Gs. Then we've got 2 A's as crotchets, and then again followed by a B and a G, and then 2 rests while our left hand takes over. I'll play that little bit again. You'll see again, I'm thinking about pressing down the keys as if they're a flexible surface with the weight of my arm travelling through my relaxed wrists into my strong curved fingers to create a much more lyrical and gentler sound. When we get to the end of the right hand part, we've got our left hand playing 2 D notes. And we've got a gradually louder. In order for that dynamic to be heard, we gradually press a little bit more firmly with each note until then we get to our 4th bar and we've got a decrescendo. So we're gradually increasing the sound as we go through that phrase, and then we die away again. In the second half of the piece, we've got something very similar. The notes look almost the same. We've got our right hand with the crescendo again. This time, instead of finishing off on our B, we've got our A note and up to 2 Ds with our little finger, and then finishing off with a couple of notes in our left hand. And again, we've got a crescendo. So we start off and then gradually increase that amount of arm weight. Increase the amount of arm weight that you're channeling into your fingers to gradually make each of those notes a little bit louder than the previous note. And then at the end you do the opposite. You gradually decrease the amount of arm weight that you're channeling through your wrist to make sure the sounds become gradually softer. Have a pause and have a play of Pussycat, remembering to be mindful of your interaction with the keys, those lovely relaxed wrists, listening to the sound coming out of your piano, moving smoothly from one key to the next, creating those coordinated hand gestures, hearing the sound in your head before it comes out your fingers, and incorporating the gradually louder and the gradually softer dynamic into our tune. Off you go. Now that we've come across gradually louder and gradually softer dynamics in our music, we can start to talk about phrasing. And phrasing in music is a little bit like sentences in English. There are many different ways you could perform your interpretation of Pussycat. I suppose what we don't want to happen is for it to be one continuous note, one after the other, played very robotically at the same level of sound, so that it all sounds very, very uninteresting. Like this. I always think it's a little bit like conversation. We don't talk to people with the same tone and the same level of sound all the time. That wouldn't be very interesting to listen to. When we generally speak to people, our voice goes up and goes down. We have lilts, we have highs, we have lows, we speak faster, we speak softer. It's exactly the same in music. If we have a look at our line of music, Pussycat, we can see that we've actually got two phrases within that one line. It's almost like that line of music represents a little paragraph, and we've got two sentences that make up that paragraph. Phrase 1 is the first idea, and phrase 2 is the second idea. They're both fairly similar. And we can use our gradually louder and our gradually softer dynamics to shape the phrase. And if we have a look at phrase 1, the shape of that phrase is to have a very soft dynamic, and then we get gradually louder, and then at the end we get gradually softer again. So we've got this gradually louder, building up, building up, building up, and dying away, dying away, dying away shape of our phrase. And that's a fairly common phrase shape in classical music. You gradually build up to the most important point or the main point of your phrase or your musical sentence, and then you die away a little bit at the end. So our first phrase, we're building up, the idea finishes. So that's the end of that first phrase in that little piece of music. Then we've got our second phrase. Again, the idea builds up to the main note, which would be those Ds. So we're building up our phrase to this main climactic moment, and then we've got a couple of then we've got a decrescendo at the end to round off that phrase. And that's how we can start to make our music come alive, so that it's not robotic, one note after another, but it's lyrical. It has ebbs and flows, it has emotion, it has meaning, it tells a story. It really helps to be able to shape your phrases and bring out your phrases if you can hear what you think that they should sound like in your head. So engage your hearing, engage your imagination, and that way the musical phrases have more chance of coming out your fingers. Another really great way to get phrasing incorporated into your music is to sing along with what you play. You'll be amazed at how your fingers tend to follow what you're singing. And the highs and the lows, the ebbs and the flows will come out your fingers as your hands follow your voice. So have another pause and have another play, and be really mindful of shaping the two phrases in our little piece of music today, Pussycat. That's it for this session. Make sure you have a think about what you've learned a few times between now and the next time that we sit down and play together, to really cement what you've learned into your brain and fingers. See you next time, where we'll explore other dynamic markings that will help us further shape our musical phrases.